Hi guys, Brittany here. If you don't know, this is my channel. It's called Phoenix Ministries. I decided to start it so that I could really document my relationship with God and be able to also teach people likewise, you know? And I think we really do need more Christian YouTubers out there, so I would like to be part of the bunch. I hope that you are in good health and that everything's alright. And I actually wanted to start off my first video as a testimony. My testimony when I was much younger. All throughout my life, I had gone to church and I loved it. You know, when you're a kid, you love church because it's a place where, you know, you get snacks and you get to read Bible stories. It was fun, but I never quite got it. Now, when I did, I learned the hard way. What happened was, as I grew older, I really didn't fully understand it, nor did I take it entirely serious. We prayed, but it wasn't a relationship, right? So, what happened was I went into high school, aka the Thunderdome, and I met someone that really changed my life, not for the best, but also for the better. This man that I dated, we were unequally yoked, which, as you understand, we're not supposed to be unequally yoked. He made my life very difficult, not only spiritually, but physically and mentally and everything, and it wasn't fun. Over time, things got a lot worse, and I started to do a lot of things against what I was taught and what I believed, and I honestly fell away from God, and it was the biggest mistake of my life. Over time, I lost my way, and my relationship with God became very minimal, if not non-existent. I got into a lot of things, even New Age things, that now I fully regret and have no desire to take any part of. And it just became a real mess. My mother had dreamt, actually, about shadows around the house and shadows around him, and it just got really, really nasty. Even where I got in this relationship I had, this man was very manipulative, and he made me hate my mother and not listen to her, and my head just became very twisted. I became very contrary to what God taught me and everything of God, really. So, eventually, it did get worse, way worse. My mom actually dreamt that I was contemplating suicide, and I was depressed because I loved him, but I was being very badly deceived, and the enemy, of course, uses people. Now, I don't really believe in bad people, but I believe that the enemy could use anyone he wants to if they're vulnerable, and he was, because he wasn't a believer, he was far from it. So, then, over time, I had this moment in my life where we were reading Romeo and Juliet, and there was a part in Romeo and Juliet where they say, "I defy you, stars." Not good. Instead, actually, because, like I said, I had already romanticized all of these negative things in my head I had been taught by him, I decided, while I was arguing with my mom, to pretty much like shout it in the hallway, and I remember feeling so yucky after saying that I defy God. I defied God, and I quickly learned my place, and things got way worse. Things got more physical, things got more emotional, things just fell apart totally. This relationship was horrible. And eventually, my mom really got involved, and I thank her because, honestly, without her, I don't think I really would have ever gotten out of that relationship. This moment that we had was that she was coming around the corner. I wasn't expecting her, by the way. And I was talking to him in secret. It was after we had broken up. And, like an angel, she comes and she says, "We're getting you a restraining order." And we did. And after that, things were different. Now, there was a really important part of my life, and it was the ultimate time where God called me back. And it was that I had a dream that I was in my bed, and I was hiding, and I was hiding under the blankets, right? So this wind comes into my room, and I hear this sound. It's like this ear-piercing sound that I really can't describe. And I started to levitate off my bed. And when I woke up, I was in tears. And I was like, this is, something important. It was scary, kind of, but it was something that ultimately gave me peace. So I go and I tell my mom this, like, rapture-esque dream, and she's like, God's calling you back. And I realized, yeah, he is. So I did. And I went back to him, and I kind of, like, between the relationship and him, I really did a lot of fighting. And I did a lot of trying to, keep my faith. And eventually I did break up with him. And I left that relationship a very broken person. I grew up neurotypical. There was nothing wrong with me. I developed all of these mental issues, which I still have to this day, but God is really working on me, and I'm really starting to feel the healing. I really do. And eventually there was this place after the relationship where I was just constantly depressed. I was constantly upset. I had anxiety. I didn't function the same at all. And though my mother was a great person and she helped me so much, she really did, man can only do so much. Eventually, God really was my comfort. God really became my refuge. He became my fortress. And I clung to him. And I learned that I'm not alone. Now, the most defining moment, the most wonderful moment, yet most scary moment, is the day that I got rid of all of that stuff. I would like to say for good. I was doing my part in church, and I was leading in worship, and afterwards, when they were doing altar call, I went up and I was praying for God to clean my heart, to give me a clear heart, right? So I was praying, and while I was, worshiping and praying and all that up in the front, I started to feel this shoot up my back, and it was incredibly uncomfortable. So at first I was like, is that the Holy Spirit? That doesn't feel like the Holy Spirit. And I started to feel almost like in pain. Not even almost, I was in pain. It was really uncomfortable. It's like the only way to describe it is incredibly uncomfortable. So I felt that. And it just felt like something was fighting inside of me to leave my body. And eventually I started to purge, and not pretty, not cute. And it was in front of the entire congregation that I had been with all my life. So you could imagine the embarrassment and the shame, but also the fact that it was a huge proclamation that a new chapter was starting. So while I was doing all of that, I had this moment where I was almost unconscious, but I wasn't unconscious. I was awake. I was alive. I was standing. But it felt like my soul left my body, literally. So after I was done, I had this conviction, and I remember literally crying in the church bathroom on my mom's shoulder, saying how I don't want to listen to metal anymore. I don't want to, watch this anymore. I don't want to do this there's so many things that I just wanted to change. And I really felt like God changed my heart that day. And I really felt like God took away all of that oppression that honestly Satan put on me because I was under lots of oppression, a lot of depression, and a lot of bad stuff. But I truly believe that it had left within that time frame. So now I live my life very differently, and I literally wouldn't trade it for the world. Even though I hated my experience, even though it was terrifying, even though it was painful, sometimes we need to be crushed through stones to become new wine, because we can't be old wine. We can't be our old selves. God needs to transform us and change our hearts. And that's exactly what He did for me. He changed my life. And I couldn't ask for any more of an experience, truly. If I didn't go through this horrible situation, I probably would have never ever knew God the way that I've ever known Him. And the person that I used to be very timid, very submissive, and even though I'm still shy, I became a much stronger, independent, no BS woman, to make it short. And I thank God, because that's not me. That's God. That's God changing the heart. That's God changing the mind, and He could do that, and He could renew you. You just need to believe in Him. You need to ask Him. You need to ask for salvation, and He will give it to you. He will reveal it to you. Even saying, God, I don't know if I believe you, but show me who you are. Prove it. If you have to say that, then do it. But He will, and be prepared, because He will reveal Himself to you, and you will be in awe. So I just wanted to close off this video with, I hope that my message really, whether it touched the hearts of people or gave you a new perspective of who God is, because this God that they speak of in the media, it's not a God of love, it's a God of religion. It's a God. We don't do religion, we do a relationship with God. Yeah, we have rules, but it's for our own well-being. But it's a religion, not of a religion. It's a relationship of love between man and God, and of destiny, and of blessings, and of good things. He loves us. We weren't put on this earth to just, they say servants in the Bible, and we are servants, but we are also His children. He loves us beyond measure. He really does. And I want you to know that. All of us. Even those who haven't even met Him yet. He already loves you, because He loved you before you were even formed in the womb. So I wanted to close this video now. Sorry, I'm rambling. I hope that y'all have a wonderful day.